In today's episode, we're going to walk through my Home Defense 300 Blackout build. We will go front to back and talk about all of the parts and why I chose them. Welcome to Pork Tactical. Today we're going to be talking about my Home Defense 300 Blackout build. I designed this gun specifically for, well, home defense. What I wanted is something that was quiet in the case that I didn't have time to get ear pro on. I could still shoot it safely inside and not completely destroy my hearing. I wanted something that was short and easily maneuverable, especially knowing that there was going to be a 6-inch can hanging off the end of it. I live rurally, and we have a decent amount of property here, so I wanted something that would be really easy to use inside in a close quarters situation, and also something then that I could take outside and use out to distance if I needed to. And then lastly, what I was thinking was, well, if the shit did hit the fan and I needed to, hunt or something like this, having a weapon that was capable of doing that as well. So I kind of think of this as sort of a do-it-all type thing, because I can get in close, I can reach out far, and I can definitely take out, mid to large size game. So let's start up here at the top and work our way back just like we did in the AR9 build video. So let's start here with the can. This is the SilencerCo Omega 300. So the reason that I chose this one is because it is nicely balanced with all of the things that you would care about with the suppressor. So the sound suppression is very, very good. It is fairly lightweight. The can is 14 ounces by itself. When you add the mount to it, it adds another like 4 ounces, I think. So it goes from 14, just the can, to 18 with the can and the mount. So relatively lightweight. It is not a flow through, so it's a typical suppressor, and there is a decent amount of back pressure. But, to me, that's kind of the trade-off here. You're never really, well, at least not yet from what I've seen, you're not going to find a suppressor that is perfect in all categories. But for me, this suppressor did everything that I needed it to do. And also, this is, you can check out Pew Science. They have a good review on there. If you look at silencershop.com, I think there's something like 250 5-star reviews on this thing. And most of the reviews were pretty favorable. So I also wanted a can that could do a bunch of different rifle calibers, and so this does suppress 300 Blackout really well. This does supersonic 300 Blackout, of course, and 5.56 and everything else. So again, looking for a do-it-all that was nicely balanced for the things that I wanted. Also knowing that I was going to be putting a tunable gas block here. So, the back pressure can be mitigated pretty well by tuning the gas block. It is attached to the barrel through this SilencerCo ASR mounting system, and it's attached to the SilencerCo muzzle brake. I haven't had any problems with this attachment system. Some people online have complained. I've not really encountered any issues. So to me, it works perfectly fine, and it does exactly what it needs to do. The muzzle device is attached to a Wilson Combat 8-inch match stainless barrel. It's a 1-in-7 twist rate here. Weighs about 17 ounces. So, it's not a pencil profile. It's slightly tapered, and it handles really well in rapid fire situations. Again, great reviews on this thing. I personally think it looks pretty cool having the stainless finish there. especially with the Lantac stainless BCG that I've got here. Why did I go 8 inches? So I think from my research, looking at ballistics charts and whatnot, 8 to 9 inches seems to be the ideal for a 300 Blackout, where the best ballistics performance for the shortest for the shortest barrel that I could get. So again, looking for something that was going to be really great for home defense in QCB situations. Also being able to have that ballistics performance where if I needed to, I can swap out to supers and I can get out to 200 yards all day long. So this really to me kind of did it. This was the sweet spot, I think, for 300 Blackout. Of course, if you're looking for something like a bag gun or a truck gun or something, you can go as low as, I think, a 5-inch barrel with like the Rattler. Those are pretty cool. But again, for me, for what I was looking for, the 8-inch barrel was a sweet spot. Also, of note that this suppressor from a warranty perspective is not warranted for anything under 8 inches. Now, does that mean that you can't use it on a shorter barrel? Well, no, of course not. It just means that they will not warranty it under 8 inches. So I guess that was a consideration for me as well, because I kind of picked the suppressor first and then started looking at what barrels I wanted. It was just the order in which I started researching things. So so that's why I did that. Sitting on top of the barrel here is the CODA Evolution Lightning carbon fiber handguard. I really like this handguard. I think it looks sweet. The profile is pretty slim, so it's really easy to grip. The carbon fiber is interesting because it's about 40% lighter than an aluminum handguard, but it's like 10 times stronger. And this is free floating. So from an accuracy perspective, no issues there. My other concern was the way that the handguard deals with heat. Again, building this as a home defense weapon, being in a situation maybe where it's late at night, I need to grab the gun without gloves or something like this. I wanted to make sure that I could put as many rounds as I needed to through the gun without worrying about any kind of heat issues to the hand. So this carbon fiber has superior heat insulation, superior heat sort of thermal transfer or lack of transfer, really, because these have 40 times less heat transfer than aluminum. So they stay cool. I've put hundreds of rounds through this thing, and the handguard barely gets warm. And in fact, I think most of the heat that I was feeling at that point was just emanating from the barrel itself. But the handguard never got hot. The other bonus is it gets pretty cold here where we live, and these carbon fiber handguards also do not get cold in the same way that an aluminum handguard would. So shooting it outside in the wintertime, there's no issue from a cold perspective either. So really no need for gloves at all with a carbon fiber handguard. And this is so I have 2 of these. I have one on an AR-15 that I really like as well. They come with a custom barrel nut and installation system, which is pretty interesting. So you don't need like a gunsmith to attach it for you or anything. It just kind of does it all. The other thing about this is I did mention that it is 40% lighter. So what does that mean? So the handguard, the trunnion, and the barrel nut all together are 5.2 ounces. So, really, really lightweight. And again, knowing that I was going to put an 18-ounce suppressor and mounting system on the end of this thing, this has come in really handy. I guess the only con I would say about this handguard is, it doesn't have Picatinny at the top here. So if you want to, I will eventually be attaching a weapon light here to finish off the build, and I'll have to get one with M-LOK or something like this. So I got the here. I went with the. I think this is a Strike Industries. I'm pretty positive this is Strike Industries. I don't really have much to say about this. It works. It does what it needs to do. I personally like the Magpul ones better. I think they just fit for my hand better. So moving back here to the receivers, I went with Aero Precision here on the upper and on the lower. I really like Aero products. They always work. They look great. I like this is the M4E1, so it comes with the integrated finger guard here. It has a flared magwell, which makes it easier to get magazines in and out. So that's cool. Came in FDE. That was kind of what I was going for with the build here. So yeah, again, they just work. And I usually, I'd say that Aero is kind of my default for the upper and lower. Never had any problems with them, and I like what they do. So moving down here to the trigger, this is a Geissele single stage. It's got a 3.5 pound pull. It is super crisp and clean, and I really love it. The single stage really is kind of my go-to for QCB type weapons, for guns that I don't really care about super long distance precision. Again, extremely fast, really crisp break, really nice reset. Flat. I like the flat face. It just really depends on what you like from a trigger face perspective, but I prefer flat, especially for shorter type weapons like this. This here is the Lantac eBCG. I got this because, frankly, it was recommended to me by my gunsmith. It's nickel boron, super smooth. There's a number of features that they talk about with regards to this BCG on the Lantac website. I'm not sure if they're just marketing features or what, because to be honest, I haven't. This is the only 300 Blackout I have. I haven't run a different BCG inside of this 300 Blackout, and I have not done any type of quantifiable testing or anything like this. So I'm, full disclaimer, this is just kind of what they say as benefits. So one being that they have forward-facing gas ports. So apparently this makes the gun shoot flatter. Apparently it has a smoother energy pulse. It also supposedly runs cooler and cleaner and reduces back pressure. So again, I don't know if that's true, but that's what they say. And then moving here to the charging handle, I decided to go with the Radian Raptor SD. So the SD specifically is gas mitigation designed for suppressors. If you look here, you can see these holes. They're ported and they are directed forward. And so the idea is that this will, the gas goes through the holes, down and away from the shooter's face. This seems to work, but again, I also have the tunable gas block, which allows me to reduce the gas blowback to my face. So the other thing I like about this charging handle is just it. Well, first it's ambidextrous, and as a lefty, that's important to me. It also just has a really huge handle on it, so it's easy to grip. I've also kind of standardized on these Radian Raptor SDs in all of my builds, so I like them. They're well made. I've never had a problem with any of them, and of course I like the idea of the gas mitigation as well. So moving up here to the optics, I decided to go with the Holosun 510C. I really like the way it looks on the gun. It's sitting on top of a Unity riser here, which raises the eye level up. I think it's like 2.26 inches. Gives you that total heads-up display. The The optic itself is great, especially for the price. It gives you unlimited eye relief, really nice big, big picture. This thing has like shake to wake on and off, and also in addition to that has a battery that effectively lasts years. This thing also has a solar backup on it, which is cool. So if your battery does run out, you have that solar backup. It has automatic features for brightness on it. So, I mean, really just like a lot of really great features on this optic, especially for the price point. This one is in red. I kind of started out with red optics, red dots specifically, and since then I've kind of been moving more toward green. So if I ever do replace this, I'm not really sure what I would replace it with. I mean, this is pretty perfect. It works out really well for me. So moving back here, I did the Radian Talon ambidextrous safety selector. I've tried a couple of different safety selectors, and I've sort of standardized on these for my builds. I really like them. I like the way they feel. The size is good, and they just work. So again, these are just kind of my go-to. They work. Okay, moving on back here. This is a Strike Industries buffer tube, and inside of it is a JP silent capture standard. So if you go to the JP website and if you take a look at they have sort of like a flow chart for you to select the appropriate buffer spring system. And if you're running 300 Blackout subsonics, they recommend that you go with the standard. So that's what I did. The standard capture spring works perfectly with subs, with super, suppressed, unsuppressed, doesn't matter, just works. So why did I go for the JP silent capture? It is really a noticeable difference from a sound perspective. So if you've ever shot an AR with a regular spring and buffer, there's this really kind of scratchy, annoying, clanging noise that happens every time the buffer comes back. It is especially noticeable when you're shooting suppressed and subsonics. Like this noise from the buffer and the spring it almost seems like it's louder than the shot that's coming out of the suppressor. So really annoying. But this eliminates all of that, and it is, like the name would imply, quite silent. The other thing, in addition to the sound, is that it is highly configurable, so you can change out the weights, you can change out the tension of the spring. To be honest, I haven't really done that. I haven't needed to, but knowing that I have that configuration available to me if I needed it, I think is pretty cool. And then finally moving here to the brace. Since this is a pistol build, I use the SB4 Brace. Was kind of hard to find in FDE, to be honest. I finally was able to find some on Reddit. So that was cool. There's a subreddit there called Gun Accessories for Sale. And there's a lot of great stuff, a lot of good deals to be had, a lot of guys selling stuff on there, and that's where I was able to find it. So great place to pick up gear, actually. I would recommend it. I also do a lot of buying on taxswap.com, which is another great place to find accessories. I've bought optics and all kinds of other stuff off of that site. My only warning is just be smart, when you're buying off of these sites, because, well, there are scammers, of course, trying to, rip you off. And I would say, though, is, as long as you read the rules, as long as you operate in a smart way, you'll be fine. If you are kind of dumb, maybe stay away from those sites and, just buy new stuff. Because if you are dumb, you probably will get ripped off. Honestly, as soon as I put up a wanting to buy post on Reddit for this, I immediately got scammers. So, but it was pretty obvious to tell who was scamming and who wasn't. So anyway, word to the wise there. Okay, so wrapping up here, I mentioned it before, really the only thing that I have left to do is to put a weapon light on here. And the only reason that I haven't is because I haven't decided which light I want yet. I've been trying out a couple of other lights and, I don't know that I found the perfect one yet. So, yeah, the search is on. Okay, well, that concludes my 300 Blackout home defense build. I hope that you have enjoyed watching this today. Feel free to leave a comment down below. I would love to hear from you. If you have any questions or, if you've done your own builds, I'd love to hear your experience. Thanks again.